Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Rambo, and with me, as always, the big man, Sean Alley. What's up, buddy?
I am wore out, man.
Yeah, you've been moving your business, and coincidentally, you just happen to have a little space available to set up our new studio.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Yes, we are in our new digs. This is going to be our dedicated podcast room, studio / happy time room, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so the move's going well. We're still trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But for right now, the podcast is situated. We've got all the mics set up. We're ready for guests. Really excited for what this is going to do for us.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I can't believe we finally have our own little studio, you know? Mm-hmm. And then for the listeners, I know you guys can't see it, but hold on. You will be able to here soon.
Yeah, we're going to try to push for the video.
Yeah, we're going to do some live episodes, have some in studio guests, and maybe do Zoom or Microsoft Teams. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're going to have actual guests live. We'll probably do it through YouTube, stream live through YouTube where everybody can see it, and then right, and then of course we'll record the episodes so that way those that can't join us live can get back with it.
Yeah, and if any of our listeners are hearing us right now, things probably sound a little different than from our last recordings. The room's a little echoey. We're going to have to put some sound foam and stuff in here.
Foam, yeah,
just to try to dampen the sound a little bit. So we'll get through this episode, and then hopefully by the next one, things will be a little bit cleaner, a little bit clearer, a little bit softer.
Yeah, so how's the holidays for you?
Not too bad, just as good as they can be during this crazy COVID stuff.
Yeah.
I got to see my mom and dad, my brother, and most of my immediate family, but we didn't really do anything big. How about you?
Actually, it was really good. We spent some time with family, and I'm very excited because I took 3 in-laws that have never shot a gun before ever in their lives. Actually, one of them has, but the other 2 have never touched a gun. And I took them to Cardinal Center, and we rented them some guns. I brought some ammo, and I walked them through the safety, and I took them sporting clay shooting for a round.
Awesome.
And I'm telling you right now, the one girl that was with us, I think she shot an 8 out of 100. And on the last pair, on the last stand, she turned around and was smiling ear to ear. She had so much fun. And that was my stepson's girlfriend, and they live here locally. They are going to continue to do it. They love it. They're ate up with it.
Nice.
The 2 boys that were with me, and I say boys, are early 20s. They're both hooked. They love it. I think one of them shot a 25 and one of them shot a 27. The one young man is my stepdaughter's boyfriend. They live in Florida. He's really close to Tampa Bay Sporting Clay, so he's going to go start checking it out, renting a gun, and probably looking into buying a gun. I mean,
look out.
He was just ate up, but you know what, man? That's so awesome. I encourage everybody to do this. You would not believe the smile on their faces when they just inkball a target. They just, oh my gosh, you would think they just hit the lottery.
Well, it's funny you mention that because the people that I use for our networking, for our phones and our VoIP and all that stuff, Laura Gray, great lady to deal with the phones and stuff. Her 2 sons and her husband and her are all interested in coming out sporting clays. And I told them, I said, look, as soon as the weather breaks and it's nice enough, I'm going to take them out and try to do the same thing. And I'm sure that they'll be more than hooked by the time that they're done. So at least hopefully so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so what leads into this episode, just so everybody knows, this is show number 8. This is part of our gear series. This is part 2 of the gear series.
Yeah, finally coming back to it.
Yes, and as I took these younger folks out to shoot, it was one of the things that occurred to me, we're doing this gear series, how important gear is. Oh. And one of the things was ear protection. And we are fortunate enough, we have Gary Lemansky is going to join us. He is a CEO of Pro Ears.
Nice.
And another wonderful guest that's going to join us is Steve Kawamoto. He is the CEO of Wild Hair. So we're going to get into this here a little bit. Before we do, Sean, we need to remind our listeners about our contest.
Yeah, we've been getting quite a few replies, but I think we're trying to push for a little bit more. Reminder, guys, we're going to give away 2 complete NSCA memberships to people who have never been registered shooters before. That's the only catch, along with a swag pack from Chad Roberts, and that was very
Breakpoint
shooting, very graciously donated by Chad, and we thank Chad for that. Yeah. We're going to let this go probably another week or so, and then hopefully, I don't know, mid-January we'll announce a winner, and or the two winners, I should say, and then we'll put that to an end and hopefully get on with something new.
Yeah, I think our next episode, you and I have talked about it. One of our guests is going to join us in studio, and we'll go ahead and pull names then. So by the time you guys are hearing this, you really need to get out there, push your friends that have been, toying around with shooting a competition, or, you know what, honestly, the benefits that come with being an NSCA member, that magazine is so valuable. There's so much good information in there. Oh,
absolutely. I read it cover to cover every month.
I do too. Push them to join. Push them to, get involved in this contest. Just go to our website, click the contact button, send us an email with your name, address, and phone number. Get in on it. I'm telling you, this is, it may not be a whole lot of money, but the value you're going to get is definitely there.
Yeah, and I mean, somebody's going to win. Might as well be you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, so we all know, or at least we all should know, how detrimental shooting without hearing protection is. It's
right.
I could tell you some friends of my dad's that I still associate with. They have a constant ringing in their ears from being on the trap line back in the day with no hearing protection, and it really affects their quality of life. So it's very, very important. But Sean, let's get with Gary and get going on this. And I know he's anxious to talk to us. I texted him here a few minutes ago. He's ready to go. So why don't we give Gary a call and let him explain more about Pro Ears.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Sean, we have Gary Lemansky, who is the president of Pro Ears, on the phone. Gary, welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast.
Thank you very much.
So, Gary, tell us how you got started with Pro Ears.
Well, let's see. That goes back a few years. I used to work for a company called Safariland, and I was involved in supplying products to the law enforcement and military, things like their bulletproof vests and helmets and safety equipment. Yeah, and it was a great job, and that company ended up getting acquired by a really large defense contractor, and I had always dreamed of owning my own business, and that goes back to about early 2007 when that all took place. So I made the decision that after all these years of both time in the military and working in corporate America, it was time to try and go after my dream and start up something of my own. So I started the process of looking at products that I'd like to bring to market, and came to the conclusion that acquiring a company that was already out there made the most sense for me. So I went through my Rolodex, and it shows how old I am. I used a Rolodex back then. And in any case, there was a company that we had done some preliminary investigation on. We were an acquisition-oriented company, and the company was Pro Ears. And so I got in contact with the then owner of the company, the gentleman who started it up in his garage in Phoenix back in the early 90s, and started the conversation. And about a year later, we came to an agreement, and I bought the company from him. Wow. And been running it ever since.
Nice. Well, specifically for sporting clays, which is what our podcast is built around, which one of your products do you recommend, but either in ear or over ear? Which one of your products do you recommend best for shooters?
Well, we actually have a ear muff called the Sporting Clay.
Oh wow!
Oh, nice. So that's been the cup style for that. So for people who are comfortable wearing an ear muff, it's got a chop side. So one of the earlier approaches that were made for people specifically in the sporting clay sports and competitions, and it is shaped so that it's got a thinner bottom, and so it won't interfere with your sight well when you're sighting at a shotgun.
Gotcha.
So, but not everybody's comfortable wearing ear muffs. So we have a couple of products that we recommend to folks that are in-ear style products. And it really comes down to kind of price point and features that you're looking for. So we have been selling and customized in the ear electronic earplug for over 10 years now, and it's one of the better selling electronic earplugs in the marketplace, called the ProFit. And there's two versions of that, but that can be a little pricey for some people. The sport model starts out at $999, and it goes up from there. And but very, very high quality product, has a lot of functionality, really comfortable. But then we most recently introduced a product called the Stealth Elite, which is a Bluetooth earbud.
Oh, nice.
Not a customized product, but really great for people who are in the sporting clay world.
Gotcha.
It has amplification and compression, and operates with or without a Bluetooth lanyard. So if you connect the lanyard that fits behind your head, you can stay in communication. Or if you're listening to a podcast,
that's cool.
You'd be able to listen to that and still have your hearing protection going on.
Wow.
Nice.
But if you don't want to have the lanyard, then you can disconnect from that. It's still giving you the amplification and compression that you want to be able to have your situational awareness.
Gotcha. Well, Gary, so speaking of hearing protection, all right, so everybody knows that, loud noises are bad for your ears. And of course, shooting is probably one of the worst things to be around, at least long-term. What kind of benefits does a user of your products experience? I mean, what kind of, safety, what kind of, long-term gains do they have by using a product like yours over another product?
How much time did you say I have?
Try to keep it to the abridged version, I guess, as much as possible. There's just, I could go on for hours on this subject. I personally, back from my days in the military, I lost a lot of hearing, so this subject really near and dear to my heart. But hearing protection is just so critical. And, one of the things it's kind of interesting. You watch, you'll see adults out at a range wearing hearing protection, and then you'll sometimes see their kids out in the background and not wearing it. And it's just, it breaks my heart, because there is no time too early to start wearing hearing protection. Yeah.
The damage that can be done from a single gunshot. It's amazing. Most of us have been out there at one time or another, and have a shot go off, and
and you weren't ready for it, man. That you just hear ringing and stuff. It's terrible. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then it, you feel like your hearing comes back, but if in one situation in particular, you could have a virus, and so it's an unusual circumstance, and a single gunshot can make permanent damage to your hearing.
Holy cow!
Wow. You can create tinnitus, have severe hearing loss. It just goes on and on. So, you really need to have hearing protection all the time. And one of the things that I found most interesting in my years of research on the subject, the correlation between hearing loss and diseases, dementia in particular, is there's just a very, very strong correlation. And you start to find out why. And that inability to be able to hear people clearly and have a conversation, there's all kinds of ramifications that come from that. Serious stuff.
You're already you must have ESP. You're reading my mind here. I got a list of questions here for you, and you've already answered a couple of them. Speaking of tinnitus, I noticed on your website that Pro Ears can help with tinnitus. Now, my mom has tinnitus, and you also mentioned dementia. Her mother passed from dementia, and I have read that hearing loss can result, or is one of the symptoms of dementia. You stated on the website that your products can help with that. Can you explain to me how the in-ear hearing protection with the amplification can help with tinnitus?
Well, specifically, that's really geared towards one product in particular, and that is the ProFit Classic. There's a channel that's on the Classic that actually generates white noise. Mm-hmm. And the way the brain functions, and there's a number of studies that validate this concept, but some sort of a masking sound or a white noise can actually help the brain to kind of ignore the tinnitus. Now, tinnitus is somewhat one of those things that is, while studied a lot, it's really still in its infancy as far as trying to understand it. They don't even know exactly where in the brain it is coming from. But in any case, the best thing that you can do, while there's no solution for eliminating it, the masking sound can actually help the brain to look past it, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Well, you and I are definitely going to talk here in the future because I got to help my mom out. So we're definitely going to be in touch.
Yeah, and then the second part of your question about the dementia, I mean, it's actually, some of the things that come from hearing loss, people die younger, more money spent on healthcare.
Yes.
They're worse at sports, more accidents happen. And then just the fact of not being able to perceive conversation, little by little, people start to feel left out as they age and are no longer able to hear clearly and understand well. And then that is one of those triggers that actually causes some people to have either Alzheimer's get exacerbated or the dementia gets exacerbated.
Really?
That's it's kind of a sad thing because it's all preventable.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for you, Gary. So it sounds like you guys do a lot of research into a lot of different avenues. Is there anything new that you're working on or any new avenues that you guys are going down to try to, see if there's other benefits that you can offer to people with their hearing?
We're always doing R&D, and you're right. I just find the subject fascinating, everything having to do with hearing. So do read a lot. I don't mean to come across as any type of subject matter expert, just a person who's really interested.
Gotcha.
But I'm not an audiologist, and so I don't want to get into the science of it. But as far as new products coming out, our focus is on performance and comfort and reliability. We try to build that into all of our products. So if we can find ways to make the product more comfortable, people are going to wear it more often. And we've designed that into our products to date, and we're actually working on some things that I really don't want to say publicly just yet.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
That we believe are going to make our product more comfortable to wear. And if it's more comfortable to wear and people wear it more, then we're providing a better service.
Well, you just triggered my next question, Gary. I have tried the, shape your own earplugs or whatever you want to call it. The custom fit, as they call it. I've tried a couple different brands, and I get them to where they fit really well. They do a good job, but the way I mount my gun and the way I roll my cheek into it, now I don't push excessively on my stock. That's not what I mean. But just by the way I mount my gun, it actually rolls that earplug out of my right ear. Now, surely you've had other clients that have had this problem. Do you have a product or way of fixing this, or is something about your product that would stay in the ear a little bit better?
I'm not sure that we have anything that would be better, but what I would suggest when you were putting the mold in to create that custom product, you typically will have, they'll tell you to set your jaw with a slight opening so that opens the ear canal a little bit more. Okay. What I would suggest for you, when you're putting the mold into if you're right-handed, I would actually tilt my head in the same position that you're going to be in when you're sighting your gun.
Okay.
So that your ear canal will be shaped for that. So it may not be as comfortable. The differences are really minute, but the ear canals can be very sensitive.
That's a good thought.
Right.
I would have not thought about that.
So your in-ear hearing protection, though, is it custom molded, or is this something that we do something and send back to you, or we do ourselves, or how does that work?
Yeah, the process that we have for our ProFit products, that which is the custom product, is we send you a kit for being able to take your own mold. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can take it to pretty much any audiologist. Will do it for you for $30 or $40, and we will reduce the price of your product by that amount. You just include that when you send it back to us.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
Copy of your receipt, and we don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable in making that mold, because getting the mold done correctly is the most critical step of the process. If it doesn't go deep enough or doesn't fill the ear canal sufficiently, then you're just not going to get the protection that you otherwise might.
Gotcha. So your website, tell everybody, if you could, what the exact website address is. Sure.
The URL, it's www.proears.com, EARS.
You can't get any easier than that. Well, I can tell you, I've played dumb here a little bit because I wanted to, be able to ask the questions properly. But I've been on your website and I'm very impressed. I'm definitely going to look into this not only for myself but for my mother as well. So it's funny how a product we use for recreation like shooting can really help someone with a medical condition. And it sounds like you're very passionate about it, and you guys have definitely had the research and the development behind all of your products. So I can't thank you enough for coming on the Dead Pair and talking to us.
Well, I really appreciate getting this opportunity.
Yeah.
And if any of your listeners ever have any questions at all, we got some of the nicest customer service people around. They'll spend as much time as it takes to answer questions. And just by the way, I don't know if you guys appreciate this or not, but if any of your listeners would like to get a discount on any of our products, all they got to do is when they get to the checkout page, just enter in the coupon code area, DeadPair25. And they'll get 25% off of anything that they purchase.
Man, thank you, Gary. That's awesome.
Gary,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, what an awesome late Christmas present. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure we'll start out 2021 in a lot better shape than we ended 2020. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
That's awesome, Gary. Thank you so much. I mean, really, we could probably go on for a couple more hours easily. I know I could sponge off of you all day. You have a wealth of information about the subject, but I think we want to leave that more specific to each shooter. If they have questions, it sounds like you and your customer service reps are more than happy to answer any questions, and we greatly appreciate what you've done for the Dead Pair for sure.
Well, hey, guys, it's been my pleasure, and I hope you have a great new year.
You too, Gary.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, sir.
All right. Take it easy.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Wow, unbelievable. 25% discount on Pro Ears for Dead Pair listeners.
Oh, that's huge, man.
That's huge.
That's huge.
That's just awesome. Well, Sean, it's people like this that are inside the industry. They're always willing to help. And I don't think people quite get that. Some of the new shooters that are intimidated to go out there and shoot, this is like a big family. It really is. People are always willing to help you in some way, shape, or form.
Well, and let's face it, this is a higher end product, but at the same time, there was a time not so long ago, a couple years back, when I wouldn't have seen the benefit in something like this. I'm like, well, I got these little cheap foam twisties or whatever. The more you shoot, the more you do with this sport, I can certainly realize and appreciate what something like this product can do for you long term. Right. And I'm definitely going to go to Gary's website and check it out and look into it.
Oh, I absolutely am. I can tell you, I'm already headed down the hearing loss avenue. I've ran heavy equipment my whole life. I've been around guns since I was old enough to pick one up. Of course, loud music, and then the racing, and you name it. I've done more damage to my ears than most people twice my age.
Well, I don't think most people realize how much damage does happen. I mean, heavy equipment, loud noises, rock concerts, shooting guns. The list goes on, and you don't really notice it usually right quickly. It's a slow, steady degradation that you experience. And I know there's a lot of people that I know that are older, and they have to ask you twice to repeat yourself. It's like, hey, what'd you say? Or, and I'm even getting that way sometimes with some of the stuff I do. And it's, I'm not that old, but I definitely feel old when I ask that question. What'd you say?
Well, and it's, like I said, mom has hearing loss. She's got tinnitus. She's got a constant ringing in her ears. My grandmother, both my grandmothers, I lost to dementia. So the subject's, it's sensitive for me, and to hear that he's got a product that can help with that, I think the price, you talk about it is a more expensive product, but the price is really irrelevant. What's your quality of life worth?
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that. You can't put a price on having your hearing, 10, 20, 30 years down the road.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, hey, listen, we've got another cool guest lined up. We talked about this earlier. Steve Kawamoto he's the CEO of Wild Hair. Now, I've got some Wild Hair products, and I know you do.
Yep.
And our coach, Bill Elliott, who's actually been helped out by Wild Hair. In fact, the Young Guns that were on Sam LaCroix.
Yeah, Sam LaCroix, he was working there. He's still working for him, isn't he?
Right. Yeah. So they've got some really cool products, and they've got something that will fit everybody.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a shell bag, a vest, a shooting coat, gloves, glasses, you name it, they've got it. And let's, let's give Steve a call.
Okay. Let's see if he's available.
All right, cool. All right, Sean, we've got Stephen Kawamoto. He is the CEO of Wild Hair on the phone. Stephen, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
How are you? I'm doing fantastic. How was your holidays?
It was great. Everybody was healthy. Everybody had a good time, and it was just a all around good time.
Gotcha. Well, Steve, this is Sean here. I'm a big fan of your products. I shoot with one of your vests, and I'm a larger mammal. Some would call me Shrek size. You were one of the few vendors that had a vest that would fit a big guy like me. So I want to say a big thank you for making an excellent product. I use it every shoot.
Sounds good.
Steve, that's an understatement. I'm sure you guys had to run out and get more canvas to make that vest.
Oh, come on. All right. Yeah. So I'm 6'4", 375. So I'm not a small person by any means, but you guys are one of the few guys that had a vest my size. And I'm telling you what, it's a well-built vest.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we noticed that there just isn't a lot of the other vendors doing the big sizes out there. So we like to make sure that we include sizes and all the way up to 6X on some of our main product lines, just to make sure that we're providing something for everybody.
Well, I for one appreciate that.
Well, Steve, you were telling me the other day on the phone how you got started with Wild Hair. It's a very interesting story. Would you mind sharing that with everybody?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of an interesting story. It started kind of as a hobby. I invented a shotgun holster for upland hunting and waterfowl, actually as a present for my father. And I call it the Quick Shot now, but that product got us to start our parent company, which is Peregrine Outdoor Products. And I was doing that as a side business when I was in graduate school at the University of Michigan. And that kind of took off after I graduated. We moved back to Ohio, so because we're all Buckeyes down here. So
Ohio.
That's right. So we're back in Ohio, and the Peregrine was kind of working on the side. And around 2014, the opportunity to acquire Wild Hair came up, and that gave us the ability to go from a seasonal fall hunting product company to a year-round business with the clay target market. And I've been doing a lot of clay target shooting my whole life, not really professionally or anything, but just having a good time there. And so the Wild Hair brand fit very well with. It was very complementary to our other products, and it has a good reputation. And I'm a perfectionist, so I like my products to be as perfect as possible, and that. So we took over Wild Hair in 2014 and brought back a lot of their best product lines and improved everything as best we could. And we actually went ahead and put a lifetime guarantee on all the products as well. Cause
nice.
Figure we don't want to have any disgruntled customers out there if there's just a simple problem or something that can be fixed or remedied quickly. And that so it's really grown a lot.
Well, the wife bought me for an anniversary present this past fall. She bought me the black. Oh, help me out here, Steve. It's the black winter shooting coat that Wild Hair offers.
Yep.
Almost looks like black leather, or maybe it does have leather on the shooting pad side. It came with a little heftier price tag, and I held off, and I froze my butt off, and I wore several layers of clothes that threw my length of pull off on my gun, and I complained to her about it, and then all of a sudden, here she comes with this gift on our wedding anniversary. Of course, I was in the doghouse because my present to her wasn't nowhere near as expensive. But I can tell you what, I am so thankful for that, because all I do is I put on a base layer and then like a long sleeve shirt, and I put that on, and I don't care how cold it is. I can go out and shoot. It's comfortable. I got my shell pouches are on the outside of the jacket instead of digging in a pocket. It fits really well. It doesn't mess my gun mount up. I absolutely love that coat. And as people know, up here in the Northeast, if you're not dressed well, you just took a fun day of shooting and ruined it.
Absolutely.
So, Sean went on about the vest, but man, that coat is something special, man. That's awesome.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Oh, good.
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, that is definitely one of our most popular product lines there, and we try to make it to the best that we can to really work for a shooter. We found a lot of products out there look nice, and they may look good, but they don't perform for shooting. Right. So there are waterproof jackets and there are shooting jackets, but there weren't a lot of waterproof shooting jackets. There's winter coats and there's shooting coats, but they don't have all of the features that a shooter really needs for things like range of motion and really being able to raise your arms high for a good gun mount.
Right.
And so features, they're subtle features, but they make a big difference to a shooter.
Absolutely.
And to someone that's just wearing it out in public.
Well, Steve, okay, so we know you make shooting vests. We know you make shooting coats. I think you guys make shell bags. You make some gun cases as well, or gun carriers. What other products do you guys offer? And do you have anything new in the works right now that you're going to be able to offer people soon?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we always are working on new products. The list of products that we want to develop is never ending, but we try to pick off the top 2 or 3 each year to develop. And we're really excited about our new competition range backpack that was a little delayed getting here, but it's now in. And so this is a true shooter's backpack. It can be used for either shotgunning or there's a separate insert that we designed that can hold handguns and things like that. So it could be a pistol backpack, but it was really, the original design was for a full day of shooting shotguns and everything. It has an ammo compartment at the bottom that can hold 8 boxes of 12 gauge shells.
Wow.
There's pockets on the sides for your glasses, sized for anything from Rangers to Pila glasses. It's got multiple pockets for choke tubes. It's got a drink holder on the side. It's got really thick padding on the straps and the back pads. It has a waist belt, and it also has a hidden rain fly that pops out and will cover the entire backpack if you get caught in a rainstorm.
Nice.
So it's not meant for a quick, run out to the range. It's meant for a full day of shooting. If you're, going to be out there for a competition, you need a lot of shells and carry your gear. The upper compartment can hold your rain gear and your pouch, whatever else you want to stick up there. It will hold everything you need for a full day.
Well, speaking of that backpack, and I say I mean Sean and I's coach is Bill Elliott. And, he recently did that write-up about, the Wild Hair products and stuff in the magazine. You should have seen the look on his face when he found out about this backpack. I mean, you would have think that guy just won the lottery. I mean, he went on and on about it, and I'm like, Bill, I just bought a bag. He's like, throw it away. You got to go buy this one. And he went on about the features of it, and to be honest with you, I cannot wait to get one. I want to get my hands on one soon.
Yeah, I remember he got a preview of it back in the I guess late spring or so, and he was definitely excited about it. We've been excited all year, waiting for them to get in here, and now we've got them. So we're excited to start getting them out to customers and getting some additional feedback on it. Yeah. So one of the other nice things about our company is we're not a huge company, so we are fairly quick to improve and make changes. So when we listen to our customers, we talk to them every day. Bill Elliott's a great guy to talk with, and so we are always talking to professionals and just even the general public. What do you like about our products? What don't you like? What do you think we could fix? And we can incorporate those changes on the very next production cycle when we go to make the next round of products. And so it really helps us tailor and fine tune each product to have its best functionality for the shooters.
Well, we had one of your employees on, Sam LaCraw. He was on the Young Guns, and I know you're going to catch up and listen to that episode, right, Stephen?
Absolutely.
He was in studio with us, and man, you could tell the excitement when he started talking about the products that Wild Hair had. I mean, he went on and on and on about it. And after the show, he was showing us what was it, Sean? It was the gun. It wasn't a scabbard. It was
like a sleeve.
Yeah, gun sleeve.
Gun sleeve.
That. And he was showing us, like, you can have it customized with your name on it and whatnot. And what you guys had done for the Buckeye Elite shooting squad. And I was blown away. I started looking at this. I'm like, okay, I need to order one of these now.
Yeah, it's a very nice piece.
So every time one of your products comes out, my wife kind of, I can feel her eyes rolling, So there goes more money, but no, they're worth it though. I mean, they're great products. So I have a quick question. He's yelling at me over here. He's got a question for you, but I'm going to go ahead and ditch in front of him. So one of the problems I have is gloves. I've tried everything in the world, and the problem I have, I've got little sausage fingers. I've got wide palms and knuckles, and then shorter fingers. And what happens is, when I get a glove that'll fit my hand, I end up with a bunch of material past the fingertip. And if I have to fumble around in my vest pocket for a shell, I'm frustrated. So do you guys? I think you guys have some winter gloves, don't you?
We don't carry winter gloves, but we do have a nice pair of gloves in our lineup. So they're a lightweight glove, really good for protecting your hands from the wind and everything, but they are not insulated. One of the really nice things about those gloves, though, is because of the thin material, it stretches, that it will accommodate bigger hands, bigger fingers, and things like that. But the seams on them are so small that your dexterity on your fingertips is just phenomenal.
Perfect.
On that. And people just love these gloves. And,
now, I know that's not a winter glove, but that's perfect for me because, I can put my hands in my pockets or whatever in between stations, right? But I just want something while I'm out there shooting that I'm not getting frostbite in the tips of my fingers through that station. So that's perfect, man. I'm going to try those.
So, Steve, I've got a question for you. So we're going to have a lot of listeners listening to this podcast, and we were hoping that you might be able to entice them a little bit to maybe visit your website. Is there some kind of an enticement that you can throw out to them to help them out a little bit? Maybe come visit your site and possibly purchase a little bit of gear from you?
Sure. Yeah, our website obviously has all the products listed on there, and they can always give us a call if they have questions, but we can definitely give them a discount for listening to your podcast. I think we could give them a 10% discount.
Nice.
And if they would just need to use the code DP10.
DP10. Okay. Awesome. That's
nice.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be go out there and visit your site real soon here and hopefully get some orders flowing for you there. We appreciate all the time and all the information that you've been able to provide us.
Yeah, not a problem. Our products are definitely not the cheapest products out there on the market, but they are going to last you a lifetime, and we'll stand behind every one of them.
No, I'm a big believer in quality, and you guys, like I said, I've had your vest for the last 3 years. It's been phenomenal, and like I said, it's built well. It carries everything I need. I'm comfortable, very able to shoot in it, and I'll definitely be buying more of your products, and I'm sure Jason will as well.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Yeah, and the other thing that we try to to let people know is that we have a team program. So we try to get entire teams outfitted. And so we do give team discounts if they want to, get a line of vests for the whole team, or the gun cases, or the pouches for the whole team.
Gotcha. Like specifically for the youth shooter.
Yeah, and we do it for adult teams as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
The initial, objective was for youth teams because we want to keep growing the sport, and we want new shooters to have good quality gear and not necessarily have to pay a premium for that if they're not sure, exactly what they need or what their size is. And a lot of them are growing too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
they may not be in it forever on that. So that was why we started our team program.
Well, that's awesome. We actually have a team. It's funny you brought that up. It's called the Wheelbarrow Club. It's the Wheelbarrow Club is hard to push, easy to upset. And there's about 10 of us now.
Yeah. It's our little group of shooters.
Yeah, it's just our little group of shooters. We always end up squadding together or, shooting together, and we always get together after big shoots, and it's a really good time. But man, that'd be kind of cool, Sean. We're gonna have to get some team vests.
Get some team vests and really go out there and do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Steven, you just tickled our fancy here. We got a little plan now.
Sounds good. Well, I mean, it sets a nice tone when the whole squad walks out in matching gear and everything, and
that's
catches
awesome.
People's attention.
Yeah, heck yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know you did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've done it for a lot of the universities. Lindenwood was one of our first universities that outfitted their whole team, and we've probably 20 or 30 different colleges and tons of high school teams all across the country.
Yeah, Trace Hatfield, he actually sat in studio with Sam when we did the Young Guns episode, and he's a member of the Lindenwood team.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Well, and just Sam was starting to count up some of the number of registered targets that he's shot with his vest that we made for his Buckeye Elite team, and I think the number of official registered targets that he shot was somewhere in the order of 60 to 70,000.
Wow!
With that vest. Not to mention all the practice rounds in addition to that.
That's incredible.
And that's a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
So that just kind of goes to the durability of our vests and, what you can really do with them if you just take care of them along the way.
Yeah. Well, I've shot mine for 3 years. I've got about 10 or 11,000 registered targets, nowhere near Sam, but yeah, it's holding up just fine.
Yeah, but we're going to have to get matching vests. So you gotta park that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Buy a new one.
All right.
It's got to have the Wheelbarrow Club
Well,
on
we'll
it.
have to have a sit down with everybody and talk about it then.
And they cannot buy one unless it's got Dead Pair on it somewhere too.
There you go.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Steve, listen, we're going to run, but thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
We appreciate
It was my pleasure.
We appreciate you extending the discount to our listeners. And just one more time, you said it was called DP10?
Yep, DP10.
Okay.
All right. And the website they can go to redeem that, Steve?
That would be wildhairshootinggear.com.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Well, Steve, thank you very much. We appreciate you spending some time with us. And, man, you will definitely be hearing from us again soon.
All right. Sounds good. You guys have a great new year.
All right. You too, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Man, now we got more money to spend, Sean.
Oh my gosh, my wife's going to kill me. All right, so now we got a 10% discount from Wild Hair. We got a 25% discount from Pro Ears.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be in trouble.
Between this podcast and our shooting, we're going to have to take up second jobs to support all
Right,
this.
yeah. The Dead Pair Podcast, How to Go Broke Saving Money.
Right? But, it holds testament, though, because it's funny. I looked on the internet on the way over here, or before I came over here, and one of the local stores here, they've got Champion shooting vests as cheap as $10. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say any names, but I also looked up another website that sells high-end vests, and they're $380.
Right.
Okay. So, you've got this big span in between, and for the new shooter that's wanting to get into this, well, how much do I spend? Well, guess what? It's just like a car.
Yeah.
You can get a cheap, run around town car that, might last you a year or two for $2,000, or you can, the sky's the limit. I'm not going to get into that, but
there's lots of things you can go to and spend a lot of money on.
Right. But what I'm getting at is you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And you and I made these mistakes when we started. We spent money in the wrong direction, and then you end up throwing that item away or giving it away or selling it or whatever, and you end up going out and spending more money on a better quality product.
Yep. And I've had 2 previous shooting vests before I wound up with the Wild Hair vest that I have now, and they didn't last. I mean, they ripped out. I mean, and I'm not going to name names. It's just, something that you would go to a sporting goods store and buy.
Right.
Not a specific, what I would call a specific shooting vest. Good enough to get started, not something for the long haul. And I can tell you, I'm very pleased with my Wild Hair vest, and I know it's going to last a lifetime.
And, this goes back when we started this episode, we talked about me taking those 3 individuals shooting. Mm-hmm. Okay. They didn't have vests or shell bags or anything. And they would go to the back of my buggy and they'd grab big handfuls of shells and they'd put them in their coat pockets.
Right.
And to see them fumbling around, I bet you I bent over and picked up probably 30 shells throughout 16 stations because they didn't know. It's no big deal.
Well, and we did the same thing. I mean, let's face it. I mean, when you get started into this sport, you really don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And until you go out there and do it a few times and realize, there's an easier way. There has to be a better way. There has to be a more functional way to handle this process. And then that's what it takes is just time in the saddle.
And so this is the gear series. So going into that, the one young man that shot with me, he's going back down to Florida and we were talking about some gear and stuff. And I told him, I said, look, you can go to Walmart in the sporting goods section and buy a shell bag. Mm-hmm. It's going to last you, if you get into this sport, it's going to last you about 6 months.
Right.
He's like, well, I don't understand. What wears out on it? I'm like, the rivets, the stitching, the belt, I can go on and on and on. Something's going to break. You're going to be in the middle of a round. It's going to be frustrating.
Yeah. And again, we want to preface this by saying this is people that are shooting, at least weekly or several times a month like we do.
Right.
If you're only going out to the range 5 or 6 times a year, then pretty much anything will work.
Right.
But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with buying a good piece of quality equipment that's going to last for years and years you don't have to worry about.
Right. So we just talked to Stephen from Wild Hair. So everybody's thinking, okay, I'm the new guy. Do I want a vest or a shell bag? Well, I can tell you this much. A vest will consistently give you a mounting surface for your gun. True. And what I mean by that is a vest is the same consistent material. What you wear under it doesn't matter, but you're always going to mount. The gun is always going to be mounted to same consistent material. I like to wear those guide wear shirts. The problem is with one of those, if I'm wearing a shell bag, that gun's flying all around my chest and my shoulder when I'm trying to mount, right? So a vest is a consistent. And another thing too is mine has what I call the FETASC line stitched on it.
Right.
So I recommend a vest personally. I think it's something that you put on every time you go shooting that's consistent. It's not for everybody. Yeah. If you're going to go the shell bag, again, Wild Hair is offering a discount to our listeners. Why wouldn't you go to their site? They've got good quality products. They're not going to be on the top end of the food chain as far as price, but they are going to be on the top end of the food chain as far as quality.
Absolutely.
You just heard Steven. We'll back up anything we sell.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to go do that?
Yeah, and I'm a little different. I mean, I shoot with my vest, I would say 75% of the year, except in the very, very hottest parts of the month, like July and August here, it just gets to be sweltering. Being a big guy, I got extra insulation, so I'm looking for ways to cool down, and I will switch to a shell bag in the heat of dead summer,
right,
mid-July, August, that kind of thing. So I do have a shell bag, but I don't have a Wild Hair shell bag. So this discount code is going to give me an opportunity maybe to go peruse their items and see if there's one that might work better for me.
Well, now let's back up a minute. Sam showed us that awesome vest that he has. It's like netted.
Yeah,
that'd be perfect for you in the summertime. You could stick with your vest.
Yeah, if I can find something a little cooler, a little more breathable, then that would definitely work better for me.
Right, and it's going to have the dead pair on the back, which
of course it would.
The size of your back, there'd be like a neon sign around the corner.
It'd be like a billboard on the freeway.
God love you, Sean. I'm just teasing.
I know, it's all good. I've been big my whole life. I tell everybody I was never little. I was just young.
Awesome. Hey, one of the things I want to touch on real quick, listeners out there, please do us a favor. Subscribe to our podcast.
Yes.
I don't care if you're listening through Google Play or Apple Podcasts, whatever. Please subscribe to our podcast. It's going to help us out. And another thing, too, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, make sure you like and share. If a new episode comes out, click the share button. Let your friends, let fellow shooters know about us.
Yeah, we're just trying to help the average shooter out, the guy the person getting into the sport, the new shooter, trying to figure out what needs to be done, how to become a registered registered shooter, or just how to become a shooter, period. And, again, we're trying to help as many people as possible. So please, please, please like and share our podcast to all your friends and family.
Absolutely. And David Radulovich, he stated it on our last episode that this is a labor of love, and it really is. I mean, Sean and I have floated every bit of this out of our pockets, and we're not asking for sympathy, okay? Let's get that out.
We do this because we love it. We love it so much.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We're passionate about it. We don't have big corporate sponsorship or anything. Maybe someday that'll come. That'd be great if it does, but no matter what, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We would just really, really like it if everybody that is listening to this, that likes our podcast, could let us know. And you're going to let us know by subscribing to the podcast, liking and sharing on Facebook and Instagram. That'd be great. We really appreciate
and don't forget, we've still got the contest running for the 2 free NSCA memberships, the 2 free swag packs. Don't miss out. Somebody's going to win them. Might as well be you. So make sure you drop us a line. Let us know where you're from. Give us a little bit of info. Love to hear about what you like about the podcast. Also, would love to be able to hear from you in regards to new content, any new ideas, things that you haven't heard from. We've got a lot on the slate, a lot in the works, and a lot of people lined up that we're going to talk to that's going to branch out into a lot of different segments of shooting in this industry. But, there may be something we're missing, So shoot us a line, drop us a text or an email, and let us know what kind of things you'd like to hear on future episodes.
Absolutely. That's a good point, Sean. And just to let everybody know, the next episode, we're going to have an in-studio guest that's going to go ahead and draw those names for the NSCA membership competition. And that's also going to be part 3 of the gear series. We want to try and get this wrapped up here soon. We've got 2 more parts to the gear series. So that episode, we're going to have 2 different manufacturers on of some really cool products. And we're going to do that drawing. And then after that, Sean is getting ready to take a little trip south. Now I'm jealous. Sean's going to be going to the Gator Cup in Florida.
Correct.
And we have 2 residents of Florida, special guests, pro shooters, that are going to come on and talk to us, not only about the Gator Cup, but about what's going on in the whole Florida swing. So you guys make sure and tune in, and we're going to see you on the next episode, aren't we, Sean?
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you on the next Dead Pair podcast.